Yeah, Joe, my man, how are you doing?
Doing good, brother. How are you?
Doing good. I'm doing good as well. Had a good chat just before this about the offer that you're on. Glad I was able to help with that. So yeah, guys. So this is Joe. He's been part of the Oracle for I want to say so since June. So what's that? Not June, either June or July. I can't remember. I think it was June. So June,
Yeah.
July, August, coming up to 3 months, and he's made a lot of progress, and I say a lot of progress, especially with some of the roadblocks that we faced before. He's been able to get through that. So he's kind of a walking testament to grit and just keep going. So yeah, Joe, just quickly tell the guys who are watching, describe yourself, tell just a little intro about yourself and what you're doing at the moment, what kind of offer you're on.
Cool, man. Yeah. So my name is Joe. I'm 23 and I currently live in Southern California. So prior to kind of getting into remote sales, I was working a 9 to 5 doing B2B sales, and it was a great experience and all. The only thing was I didn't really get the time and the freedom that I really wanted to have. And that's when I kind of made the transition into remote sales. And and it was kind of a rough start. I didn't really know where to start. Didn't really know anyone in the space or the field, and that's when I kind of found Matt through his YouTube, and I was binge watching all of his like content. I really resonated with who he was as a person, and honestly, the cherry on top was I knew a mutual of his, Dave,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I knew Dave through his business partner, which is actually one of my older best friends. And Dave is a guy that Matt kicks it with like regularly. So that was just like the cherry on top to where I was like, yeah, I trust this
Fire.
guy. And then I ended up joining the Oracle, and that's where I kind of got my start in remote sales. And so my first month in the remote sales space was pretty rough. I was on a phone setting offer. It sounded really good to begin with and to start. It was my first offer ever, and it was honestly a good experience because I learned a lot through that
Yeah.
offer. But I was putting in that work for about 3 weeks to a month, and I didn't really get any returns on that. Mostly because the offer owner and he was kind of shady. I don't want to point any names or any fingers or anything, but I
Yeah.
was basically booking in all these calls for him. He wasn't really taking these calls, and so I had a rough start kind of, and it wasn't until I said that's enough, and then
Yeah.
I ended up hopping off that offer, and then did a lot of more outreach. I kind of knew what I wanted at that point because I was on an offer that wasn't producing the results I wanted.
Yeah.
So I was able to kind of realize what I wanted in an offer, and that gave me a lot of clarity. And so with that clarity, I ended up doing a lot more outreach, hopped on a lot more interviews this time, not just hopping on the first offer that I had the first interview with. I
Yeah.
did about like 4 or 5 interviews before I found the one that was right for me. And so currently, it's been about a month now on this new offer,
Mm.
and the offer's for a real estate coaching program. And and I really resonated with the guys that work there. And
Fire.
during my first month, I was actually able to help them hit their top revenue.
Yeah. That was crazy when I first saw that, man, because it's only been 3 weeks and you're already just you crushed it with them, not just for yourself, but you crushed it with them. And it's funny because we were talking prior to that in that down where you were on that bad offer and you're back to square one and you feel like things weren't moving forward. And I kept saying to you, like, it's the trenches season. You just gotta keep going. Like things can happen quick, just like that. Next week I see you in the fucking wins channel talking about how you booked this many calls and you just helped them hit a record month about like a week or 2 or 3 weeks later, bro. So walking testament for that. And in terms of commission, like numbers wise, how much did you make so far on this first month? I mean, you can talk about a bit of the second month while we're going through it, as well as do you know exactly how much rev you help generate? If you don't, that's fine. But if you have any numbers like that, that would be cool.
Yeah, cool, bro. So yeah, the I started in August with them. It's September now, so
Yep.
I was only on the offer for about 3 weeks in August, and during those 3 weeks, I was able to help them generate about 33,000 in revenue. And so I got a good commission check off of that, you know. I make
Yep.
5% of their commission, so and I also
Nice.
hit a so the first 3 weeks I was on, I made a little under 2.5K. So it was a
First month.
solid first month for sure.
That's solid. And before you didn't work, like you already graduated, right? And you said you worked odd jobs, but when we first talked on the phone, you were still at zero, right? You're at zero. You weren't making anything.
Yeah, I was at zero. I mean, so after I graduated university, yeah, I was working odd jobs. I didn't really know where I wanted to go, and I knew I wanted to have my own freedom, and I felt like sales could take me there. And so, how I got started in the sales, like I said, was through my 9 to 5 in the B2B space,
Yep.
and it wasn't remote. It didn't give me the freedom and time I really wanted to pursue other things. But I was still making money there. I just didn't have the freedom. So now that I
Yep.
am in sales, I do have a little bit more freedom, a little more time and flexibility. I'm working from home, which is great. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's been great.
100%. 100%. So you're already doing well in your sales, your past sales job, but you're just missing that last piece, which was the freedom aspect. So you kind of, what was it like typical? You got to turn up at the office at this hour from this hour.
Mhm.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, basically that, man. I mean, I was always in the office working with people. Um, just working
Yeah.
with people I didn't really enjoy working with. You know, we didn't like the same things. I mean, I was also driving around a lot, which was one of the other negatives about it.
Yeah, bro. Them Zoom calls of you in the car. Yeah. Like, I'm glad that's over now. But
Yeah,
it was like part of the job, right? So it is what it is.
yeah, it was part of the job, but I mean, now that I am doing something remote, it's been great, man. And honestly, thanks to you, because I didn't really know where to start at first. So I
Appreciate
was kind of
that.
lost. I didn't have those connections. And it wasn't until I met you and joined the group that I was able to kind of push myself to the limits.
Appreciate that, man. Yeah, I mean it's you've been a killer, so it's also on you. Did you were trying to get were you already trying to get into appointment setting before into sales? Or was this like completely new? You hadn't tried anything before?
Yeah, so when I actually first took that job, I knew I wanted to do something remote. I knew I wanted to do, I kind of heard about appointment setting. I didn't know too much about it to where I could just dive right in and just get that job
Yep.
right away. So
Yep.
that's why I settled for that B2B sales job. And honestly, it wasn't after until 6 months that I kind of had enough where I was like, yeah, this is it. I put my 2 weeks in right away. And
The,
during that process of putting in my 2 weeks, that's when I ended up joining the Oracle actually.
yeah, I remember that. So, but within those like 2 weeks or more, were you like, did you start doing outreach? Did you look for jobs? Did you do, or is it just like you're doing research on this space, or were you doing anything? And if you were, like, what was the process before? What was it? What did your day mostly look like trying to get into this?
Yeah, so getting to the game, I honestly didn't know much. I just knew about appointment setting and I watched a couple people's YouTubes, especially
Okay,
yours.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then I did try some outreach, but I didn't really know what I was doing with outreach. I was like completely lost. And I just
yep,
felt like I needed a good game plan because for me, I work better when I have like those systems and processes in place
yep,
and like a game plan to get started. Because without direction for me, sometimes I get lost. And so you
100%.
were able to give me that direction that I needed.
Yeah, 100%. And it's not just about the outreach too, because everyone does outreach. It's like, how do you do it the right way?
Mhm.
Where do you look to make sure that you minimize the chance of getting scam offers? And as well, like there's more to outreach too. There's that other that's just one part of the puzzle. The other part of the puzzle is, building a name for yourself, building a reputation in this space. So you start getting opportunities handed to you in a way, or you attract opportunities rather than trying to chase after them. So I've I told this. it to the guys, including you. You know, I'm big on personal branding. I'm big on joining the right communities, just being cool with certain people in the space, the plugs you could say, the I don't know what you could I don't know what you call them, like needle movers or the ones that pull the strings.
Mhm.
So get cool with them too, and then you find things start snowballing very, very fast, which is amazing. Well, with that being said, it's funny because you got the position through outreach still. So um that's it's funny because I just said all that, but you got it through outreach still. So that's not to discredit outreach. Outreach isn't dead in 2024. Um I guess my next thing, bro, is I know we talked about it earlier, but I know right now like the workload is kind of ramping up, especially with the offer. But on a day-to-day basis, on an average, like how many hours would you say you're committing into appointment setting? You know, guys, you got to keep in context. He's doing it full time. If you're doing it part time, might be a different story. But like, Joe, how many hours would you say day to day you're spending on this?
Yeah, definitely depends on the day. There are some heavy days, there's some light days. I just had the day last week where I had about 60 warm lead opt-ins. And
Yeah,
on that day, I probably put in over 8 hours. But on a normal day, I'd say 6 to 8. But yeah, I am doing it full time, uh, trying to work my way up to be a closer. So I am really putting in that work to
fire,
get toward the goal.
100%. Yeah, that kind of leads me on to my next thing, which is like, where do you kind of see yourself going in the next 6 to 12 months? I know closer is the big milestone for you, and for you to start making commission off that and becoming really competent. Is there anything else that's like part of the picture? Maybe not even like business wise, maybe personal. I know you on our first call, you talked a lot about, how you wanted to kind of grow up and didn't really want to be you want to be a change man and you wanted to really work on your communication skills. I guess, help out your family, your grandma. Like, I guess where do you see yourself in the next 6 to 12 months if you stick to this?
Yeah, man. So I felt like before I was in sales, I was a very comfortable person. And sales was the thing that really helped me push me out of my comfort zone and try new things and become a better person, like you said, you know. I do have goals for myself. Um, I do want to start providing for my family a lot more because I was very comfortable before. I still live at home, just to be transparent with you guys. Especially living in America right now. I live in California. Everything's super expensive, so
Yeah,
my family has been providing for me my whole life. So my ultimate goal is to be able to give back to them, provide back to them. And yeah, I would love to move out in about a
yeah,
year, man. That's one of the
yeah,
goals
man.
right there.
Yeah, man. We can do we'll do a part two in a year from now, and you'll be out of there. You'll be in the with high floor to ceiling windows condo for sure.
Yeah, man. Hopefully in Manila like you, man.
It's gonna happen. Yeah, man, come through. We'll do a in-person one. Gonna start
Yeah.
traveling and start seeing the world for what it is. So yeah, we'll make sure that happens. Right now, it's just the beginning. I guess, is there anything that surprised you about getting into this space, appointment setting, sales? Like, did you have any misconceptions before you started, or was it like exactly what you expected?
A little bit of both. I just felt like um I feel like I had a limiting mindset before. I felt like maybe I wasn't good enough or that, oh, why would someone hire me? Or maybe there's
Mm.
just market's already too saturated, you know? That's I think that's one of the biggest limiting beliefs that I had, that it was too saturated, that there's no space to grow in.
Yep,
But honestly, as long as you put in the work, as long as you got that conviction in yourself, there's always going to be room for you because who wouldn't want a killer, you know, or a great salesman. So, yeah.
100%, bro. Yeah, that's a good point you brought up. There's only saturation at the bottom, but
Hmm.
there's always going to be room for killers like you and I and the rest of the group. So yeah, I'm glad they were crushed. I mean, you basically proved them wrong. I guess were there any surprises working in the Oracle, working with me, or what was it like exactly expected as well? Good or
Yeah,
bad?
it was exactly as I expected, you know, because I did watch a lot of your YouTube videos before, all the game that you were kind of spitting. Once I joined the Oracle, that just kind of ramped it up, especially with the community. I felt
Mm,
like the community aspect was one of the biggest things that really helped me. And one of
Fire.
the big reasons why I wanted to join the Oracle as well. Just being in a space where you're with like-minded individuals, people striving for similar goals, it kind of pushes you to be better and to actually put in that work, you know? So that was a good
Yeah,
thing.
100%. Yeah, bro, that's actually a really good point. I don't think I really talk enough about community, the community aspect of it. Um, I mean, it's imagine it'd be 10 times harder if you didn't have a community, if you didn't have people doing the same thing. You'd feel 10 times easier to be discouraged, you know? Can I just touch on that a bit more?
Exactly, man. Like I said in the beginning, I didn't really know anyone in the space.
Yeah, you met
Uh,
some cool guys inside as well.
uh-huh. Yeah, like a couple people I talk to like a couple times a week, you know, so it's good. Like
Or
Mazri, you know, like I talk to Mazri a lot. So it's
hey,
good to
shout
have
out
those
Masri.
conversations. Shout out Mazri, bro. But
Yes, sir.
it's good to have those people in your corner, you know, rooting for you. And honestly, like the wins channel, we always like uplift each other. We kind of share the wins with each other, and we kind of feed off of that, you know. So yeah,
Yeah,
community is
man.
very important, man. So it's been great.
Yeah, man. 100%. It's it's hard to do things alone nowadays. You gotta have a good team, have a good community, some people that'll back you, you know, not try pull you down, crabs in a bucket mentality style. So it's good. Only to start the community. I guess my last thing or second to last thing is I know you're pretty confident heading into this, into the starting to work with me and meeting the guys and this space. But let's say I know there's a bunch of people who are still on the fence. You know, they may have watched the YouTube videos, maybe they're new, but they're just on the fence, bro. They're on the fence about working with us. They're on the fence about even just mentorship. It doesn't even have to be about me. What would you tell them to help them kind of get over themselves?
That's a good question, man.
Yeah.
I would say if you're on the fence and you're already thinking about it, then why not just start taking action, you know, and actually join because that's what I did. I knew what I wanted. I kind of was on the fence about it. I had to make a decision, but
Yep.
ultimately, you know what you want it, you know your goals. You should just join because this will help you get there faster. Because
Yeah.
honestly, if I did it alone, and I don't think I would be able to reach the success that I've had so far.
No. No,
Yeah,
that's a fact. Like we wouldn't be on the phone today talking about these numbers. So
exactly.
um, you know, you can go
You-
you can't go do it alone, that's the thing. But it's just like do you what's the sacrifice you're making? You're sacrificing the time, you're sacrificing all the mistakes you're gonna make, the headache, the stress.
Mhm,
Um, you know, so yeah, like what you said, you know what you want, just gotta go after it.
exactly. So yeah, if you do know what you want, man, just make that move and it'll probably be the best thing that you ever done, you know, because it pushed you to actually be better.
100%, bro. Cool. I think that wraps it up. I mean, is there any final thoughts you wanna tell the guys watching, tell all the guys and girls watching, anything?
Let me think about this one. I think that if you're ready to start remote sales, just go ahead and do it, man, because the only limiting belief or the only thing that's limiting you is yourself. So just go ahead
Yep.
and take action and the results will follow. Don't get too caught
Yep.
up in the results per se. Just
Yep.
keep putting in work every day and one day you'll get the results that you want.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, man. Focus on the inputs. That's what
Hmm.
brings the result. It's not you trying to glorify the outputs and all like the commission checks and
Hmm.
like starting from the end. That's not how it works. I think that was something that we had to talk about as well. Is just focus on the daily inputs, the actions, and then the results will come naturally, you know. So yeah, good stuff, bro. Stuff.
Yeah. That's the main point that I took away from one of our first convos. You know, you always told me to focus on the inputs and look where it got me now, you know. That's something I live by now. I always try to focus on the inputs more than I do focus on the outputs. So yeah, good
Yeah,
stuff, man.
100%. Yeah, it's just a matter of time until you get the outputs. You know, you just have to show up every day and do the inputs, as we say. But yeah, bro, I hate to sound like a broken record. I appreciate your time, man, and most of all, I appreciate you, Joe, for being a star student. You know, it's just when I see a guy who has it and they have potential, and I just know they're just gonna take what I say and run with it and use the resources. Like, of course, I'm gonna let them in, and yeah, look what happened. You know, funny how things change quickly, right? So yeah, boys, if you are interested in joining the Oracle and you want similar results as Joe and the rest of the guys and the student interview, the rest of the students, etc., you can book a call down below. We'll have a one-on-one first. I'll do the same thing as I did with Joe. We'll just have a chat and then see where we can go from there. Um, if we're not a good fit, obviously no hard feelings, then I'll just point you in the right direction. But yeah, apart from that, man, you've been a killer. Um, I already knew from the start you were gonna kill it. So yeah, appreciate your time, man, and appreciate you for everything. And let's see where these next 6 to 12 months take us.
Yeah, man, I'm excited too.
Yes, sir.
And
Let's run up this
thank
offer.
you for everything, man. Really appreciate you.
Yeah, for sure, dog. All right, man. Well, take care, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.